Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, accounting for the money supply. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. We also did the Black Friday sale on the premium list going on right now. If you guys want to check that out, you can find that in the description below as well, and you can lock in the lower rate. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, Bitcoin, we know, has put in a couple of new all-time highs since April. Not only did we make it to 66,000, 67,000 back in mid-October, we had another push up to a very modest 69K. And technically speaking, we in fact had a weekly close above the prior all-time high, right? The weekly close was above the prior all-time high, and a lot of people would seem reasonable to think that, okay, well, perhaps this is the breakout that we're waiting for. Now, remember, my thesis all along is that the cycle should lengthen and that it's going to take longer for us to climb up this mountain that we're ultimately climbing up. But an interesting observation to make is that, technically speaking, did we put in a weekly close above the prior all-time high when accounting for the money supply? If you don't know what I mean, if you go look at M2, we were on a fairly predictable line here in terms of the increase in M2 until March of 2020. Okay, and you guys know what happened in March of 2020. And then since then, our angle of attack on this chart has completely changed, has it not? It's completely changed. And therefore, again, the argument goes, well, if the money supply is different, and if we're just going to print a few $1 trillion out of thin air, right? What's a few $1 trillion among friends should perhaps be some of these governments' mottos. If we're just going to print a few $1 trillion, then perhaps it would affect the cryptocurrency asset class. And so the idea is, why not take the price of Bitcoin and divide it by M2 and see if we can come up with any insight there. Now, we have looked at this on multiple occasions. We use this analysis, in fact, to identify that back in July, when people were calling for us to have to go to $20,000, we made a video back then and said, look, if you account for the money supply, we are already testing the prior all-time high, okay? And I don't think a lot of people necessarily account for the money supply, but I do think it is an important factor that you should take into consideration that, look, guys, when you account for the money supply, we already got a test of the all-time high back in 2017. And guess what? We held it as support, right? We held the line. So then now, let us go and see, did Bitcoin, technically speaking, put in a new all-time high weekly close above the prior all-time high when accounting for the money supply? And if you go look at this, the answer is no. Okay, so going back over here, the highest weekly close was 65.5K, which we know is above the 64.8K or 64.9K that we got back in April. But if you divide it by M2, you can see the value, of course, is going to be a much smaller number because you're dividing it by M2. But the highest valuation of this metric in the past was 2.77 on the daily. Okay, or sorry, that was the daily close. The highest was 3.20. Okay, 3.20. Now, technically, we have put in a new all-time high. If you just look at daily wicks, right? We went all the way up to about 3.26, which was technically higher than what we saw previously at around 3.20. But the thing is we didn't have a higher weekly close, which I think a lot of people were anticipating that that's going to lead to a sustained breakout to the upside. Look, we have the highest weekly close ever on both metrics, right? It's the highest weekly close ever, but we have not had a weekly close above the prior all-time high when accounting for the money supply. And that could be a potential reason why we're not seeing this immediate breakout to the upside. I told you guys you should expect multiple 20 and 30% corrections at various phases of this cycle from here on out. We will not make it to the market cycle peak more than likely without having multiple 20 and 30% corrections. If you go to the price today and we simply take a measured move from how far we've fallen in a relatively short period of time, you can see there you have it. That's a 15% drop right there. So we will get these drops from time to time. It's not just going to be straight up. We had a fairly sizable drop back in September, if you guys remember, from that local high to the bottom. It was approximately a 25 or 26% move to the downside. Currently, we're at 15%. It remains to be seen if we're going to go back down to sort of this longer term trend down here, which I know a lot of people are looking for, something like that. It remains to be seen if that's actually going to happen. I wouldn't say that you should be taking something like that to the bank, that's for sure. But we can look at this and say, look, when you account for the money supply, we still haven't put in a weekly close above the prior all-time high, because again, trillions are being printed, and we should probably take that into consideration. So yes, Bitcoin has put in a new all-time high weekly close when just looking at the absolute price, but it has not put in a weekly close above the prior all-time high when accounting for the money supply. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the premium list. We have the Black Friday sale going on. You can get that through the end of the month. You'll get access to weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, and more. Make sure you guys lock in the lower rate. Thank you for tuning in. Click the bell icon to turn on notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.